So I don't. I just. I just have to go for what I know. I have to go for. I can't. I can't start again, and this is just unscripted. This is just straight off the dome, man, spontaneous. So I just want to say this one thing. Um, I want to let people know. I want to let white people know, and I want to let people who have come from this country in the last 100 years have come over to this country from Spain, Czechoslovakia, Poland, Vietnam, you know, Germany, England, wherever, and you've come to this country, and you do not fully understand or can conceive or grasp the gravity of the slave, the American slave. Now we was dropped off. Some of us was dropped off in the Caribbean, different Caribbean countries, Bahamas, Jamaica, wherever, Virgin Islands, but predominantly we were dropped off. Some of us in South America, Central America, but predominantly a lot of us were dropped off. Our ancestors came here from Virginia, came to Virginia from Africa in like 1619. That's what the history says. 1619, the first slaves came here. But we probably had come sooner than that or whatever, but the recorded history that they want us to know was 1619 because we really don't have no history. The black people who ancestors were brought here slaves. We don't have no history but the United States history. That's all we have. That's all we know. And that has all been lies. So I know that the new, like Italians coming from Italy, everywhere in the last 50 years, 100 years, y'all don't know anything about slavery, our history really. Because I didn't know about my history. You know what I mean? Until I went to college, to a historically black college or university. I did not know about my history, our history. And our heritage is an oral history. Like we are oral people. From Africa, they have passed down the history from the elders have they used to pass down our history through word of mouth, verbally. So that's something that we are great at. So when you see us rapping and things of that nature, this comes from our African heritage. This is like in our DNA. So I just want to tell all these different races and people, nationalities and ethics who live here now. Let me drop some on y'all so you'll understand. White people now don't really realize what is going on with this Project 2025 or whatever with the government. But we've already gone through this. Our ancestors already brought us back from slavery all the way to where we at today. And we will not let these people take us back. You're not going to take us back to that to 1860. You're not going to take us back to 1850. You're not going to take us back. Y'all could, Elon Musk and everybody else can do whatever they want in Washington, D.C. But here is what I'm going to tell you, and here's what I know. You will not make black people second-class citizens ever again in this country. It'll never happen. You may think you're going to have a white Christian nationalist, all-male white society. Army, Navy, Marine, military, everything. It's not going to happen. That shit is not going to succeed. That Project 2025 shit is not going to succeed. First of all, you're doing it the wrong way. You're doing it too quickly. Like you gotta take steps. You're trying to fire like 1,000 people. No, you hire people, then you fire a couple of people, you hire more people, you slip them in. Like back in the day when I was, I knew that like a person who didn't have a qualification, but they had a mother, a father, a sister, brother, cousin who was the manager, and they brought them in, and then they helped them move up the ladder. You got to do something like that. You can't just fire everybody and then don't have nobody who know what the fuck going on, how to do the job. Let me tell you something about black people though. Africans who are the descendants of slaves, not African people who just moved over here from the continent of Africa or a country in Africa, Nigeria or whatever. I'm not talking to you about those people. I'm talking about a person like myself whose ancestors were brought here as slaves. Let me tell you something about us. The history of the slaves that we're not going to go back to, that I found out not in elementary school, junior high school, was called junior high back when I was in school. Now they call it middle school like the last 20 years, but it was junior high when I was in school because I'm 58. And high school. The history that I learned, I didn't learn in the public school system. So I know you fucking ain't learning it. And if it's up to Ron DeSantis and some of these Republicans in different red states, you won't know no black history. So I know you don't know anything, and you don't have a desire to know anything until you go to prison and somebody drops some books on you. Then you start reading. If your family didn't already encourage you to read everything you could and absorb all the knowledge you could. So here's what I want to say. There was a time when they had slaves, right? And they used to whip the slave. They would whip that slave and he'd have all these whips and sores on his back. And the master, to make him have more pain, would drop salt or lemon juice into those wounds. Now, you can tell when you have a little cut on your finger, you put some lemonade in it or some alcohol in it, it stings. Well, they did that over the slave hold back. Torture. Not to mention the rape of all the young girls and boys that the slave masters and the overseers did. That's our history in this country that you don't fucking know about, white people. You are never going to know that. Because they want the history to be watered down so that nobody will feel sorry. But you got to feel sorry so that you have empathy and sympathy to move on and we can make this country a better country. But that's not going to happen right now. And it may not happen while I'm alive, but eventually it's going to happen because we're not we're not going back thing, that may have been a slogan or a statement or something, but that shit is really real. We don't care what the Spanish, Asian, Native Americans, we don't give a fuck what y'all gonna do. But I'm telling you, with everything I know, and I'm a person who know and not gonna do it, black people not going to go. We're not going back to nowhere. We're not going to give up nothing. They might get away with a lot of stuff in the beginning, but I'm telling you, on the back end, all that shit is going to get cut out. We're not doing that. We're not going back. Black people not going back nowhere, because our ancestors built us differently than the white people who believe in a liar, a con man, who telling you what he gonna do. I'm gonna do everything I can to help you, which you know is fucking not true. No other president did it, but this one Messiah, the one masterful almighty God, G, is gonna do it. That's a fucking con. So I just wanted to drop that all on your white people, Africans, Asian people who just moved over here or came from the Vietnam era. You came to this country because you escaped Vietnam, wherever you came from. Black people worked in the fields. No Hispanics, no Mexicans, no Native Americans could do it. That's why they brought slaves, black people, to do it. And we are a whole different fucking species. We are the original humans. Everything is descended from us. And you will not control us in the end. We already know what you're up to, what you're doing. Our ancestors have already built this in us. Peace.